record to this computer. We'll share screen. Let's go here. Put it up here. And all right. Get started. Wait a minute. Hang on a second. Sorry, I've got to change my view because when I record this, I want people to be able to see the screen. There we go. All right. You guys see my slides? Can I get like a yes or a no? Yeah. Okay. Cool. All right. So welcome to the call tonight, guys. Tonight is all about functional medicine and financial freedom. My name is Melissa Hinault, and we have Louisa Willowiecki on the line as well. And we are both PharmDs who are going to be bringing forth some information with you guys tonight. It's a really unique presentation, actually, where we're really going to get into kind of the core science behind our products and why they are the wave of the future and where health is headed, and how it's the perfect convergence of trends of the gig economy and the side hustle economy, and where we're headed financially as a country. And so with that, you know, I am going to, Louisa is really going to kick us off from a scientific standpoint, and then I'll bring up the back end more from a financial model standpoint and how this whole opportunity can snowball into financial freedom or a side hustle, if you will, if you're interested. So if you're on the line specifically because you wanted to learn some really cool stuff about the science behind the products, but you're not really necessarily interested in the financial model, that is totally okay. We geared the presentation so that you can catch the first half and then you can jump off. If you're interested in how, you know, in hearing our stories, how you can leverage this industry, this company, these products, and create the financial freedom that I have, then feel free to stay on the line and listen a little bit longer. So with that, I'm so excited to really turn it over to my dear friend and fellow teammate and business builder, Louisa. And for that, I'm gonna open up the screen so that we can see her present. So hang on one second, Louisa. There we go. So go for it.
Okay, I think I'm unmuted, so hopefully everybody can hear me.
Yeah.
Okay. You know, I'd like to thank you very much, Melissa. I very much have enjoyed the opportunity to be part of this. And I'd like to just dive right in and just talk about functional medicine and how the functional medicine approach is becoming the wave of the future with healthcare. It's honestly a great way for those of us that are pharmacists to have a seat at the table and have input on helping patients. And I'd also like to share how well this approach has married with this wellness company. So my focus this evening, due to the time constraint, because we want to try to keep it, you know, pretty succinct and don't go over too much here, is going to be on three basic, you know, protocols and concepts. And first of all, I would like to start with the definition of functional medicine. Functional medicine is achieving the highest level of health by addressing underlying causes. Okay, the founding fathers include Dr. Jeffrey Bland, who formed the Institute of Functional Medicine in 1991, and also Mark Hyman, who was the director of the Cleveland Clinic Center for Functional Medicine. So this trend has been kind of going on for over 2 years, even coming on board with the, you know, the rest of the healthcare community. So really, currently, the thinking of a pill for an ill, I feel, isn't really, and a lot of others feel, isn't really serving us any longer. You know, your genetics may absolutely play a role, but your environmental exposures, your toxins, your bugs, your allergens, as well as your lifestyle choices, stress, exercise, sleep, and diet play an even larger role in your health. So by making, and the thinking behind this is that by making, you know, changes in these controllable factors and variables, we're able to change the outcome and change the trajectory of our health. So one of the first protocols that's discussed in functional medicine is that to remove toxicities. So of course, we are exposed to toxins every day. They're in our environment. They're in the air we breathe, the foods we eat, there's pesticides all over our fruit and our vegetables, processed food that we can't seem to avoid, hair products, skincare products, makeup. All these toxins are, very widespread, kind of hard to avoid, and they've made us sick. They've made us feel tired and exhausted. And our bodies, being the miracles that they are in order to protect us, has done a great job of binding up these toxins and storing them as visceral fat around our organs. So the question is, how do we get rid of them? So enter intermittent fasting. Okay, so that's the first thing I'm going to talk about. With intermittent fasting, it's been around for centuries. It is challenging though, because people don't really like going without eating. Even though they come into the pharmacy and they talk to us and say, I want to get off these meds, you start talking about intermittent fasting and folks are like, oh, I don't like going without eating. But however, and it was kind of voodoo science for a while, but recently, in recent years, studies, discussions, findings have all been utilized showing health benefits that keep reoccurring, benefits such as healthy aging, increase in longevity, increased ability with glucose regulation, increasing the resistance to stress, and suppressing inflammation in those that practice intermittent fasting. And these are health benefits that are in addition to the weight loss that so many of us are familiar with intermittent fasting. So the other question is, with intermittent fasting, because it can have its challenges, how do we do this? So with our wellness company, we have an intermittent, and this is what I love, is that we have an intermittent fasting plan in place that is really flexible enough to accommodate people's needs and conditions. So we utilize a plant-based antioxidant adaptogen-rich drink that floods your body with nutrient botanicals. Then by keeping your caloric intake kind of modestly controlled, these antioxidants bind up and then neutralize the free radical. And this allows our liver, because it's not really dealing with, digestion at this point, to clear out and flush out the toxins. And this process is great because it helps the body remove the toxic visceral fat. It resets appetite. It helps with weight loss. It improves mental clarity. And most importantly, and the geeky side of me, I keep seeing it written up in all these different medical journals. And according to a recent New England Journal of Medicine review article that was just published December 26th, intermittent fasting on health, aging, and disease, and I quote, during fasting, cells activate pathways that enhance intrinsic defenses against oxidative stress and aid in removing and or repairing damaged molecules. So, the conclusion pretty much is that preliminary studies definitely are showing really robust disease-modifying benefits in patients that are diabetic, as well as patients that have obesity, cardiovascular disease, and other illnesses, so other chronic illnesses. So even though it's not completely set in stone yet, the findings are kind of proving more and more that people do best when they incorporate some sort of intermittent fasting into their lifestyle. So that's number one. The first protocol that I wanted to go through was that of removing toxicities. So then getting into the second protocol that's involved in functional medicine, the next one is that of decreasing inflammation and stress. So high cortisol is the culprit oftentimes, most times, and it's linked to many issues such as hypertension, high blood pressure, heart disease, anxiety, depression, digestive issues, weakened immune systems, poor sleep, on and on and on. So, and the way that we want to take care of that is we want to decrease inflammation, okay? And so we have a method. We have a product that decreases cortisol with a plant-based, plant-rich, adaptogenic drink. And some folks have not heard of a plant adaptogens, and they've been around for a long time. But what they are is these are plants that have evolved under significantly stressed conditions and now have properties that decrease and normalize oxidative stress at the cellular level. And this is just truly remarkable because now some of these plants are being utilized to help decrease our oxidative stress, thereby decreasing our inflammation and decreasing our cortisol levels. You know, some of these plants that are included in this is those of, and maybe y'all have heard of some of them, ashwagandha, rhodiola, wolfberry, to name a few, and we use these plant adaptogens in many of our products, and we've had great results. And then the last, or the third protocol I kind of wanted to talk about, so we've talked about, you know, getting rid of it, okay, removing that, repairing with decreasing inflammation and decreasing cortisol. Then the third area I'd like to go through is that of, you know, replacing, re-inoculating, and restoring balance to our system, okay? One way to look at this is by looking at our GI health, okay? Amazingly, at least I find it amazing, so much of our overall health is defined by how healthy our GI tract is. You know, in fact, gut dysfunction is linked to so many different things. IBS, fatigue, fibromyalgia, headaches, arthritis, eczema, allergies, asthma, you know, and the list can just go on and on. And additionally, you know, your diet, your circadian rhythm, your stress, your inflammation, hormonal effects, GI disorders, antibiotic use, all can affect your GI microbiome and all the GI microorganisms that need to be in your GI tract. So one way that we have that can assist that is by adding digestive enzymes. When you add digestive enzymes, which unfortunately decrease as we age, this will help to promote digestion and absorption, okay? And the next thing that we would like to encourage or recommend is that of probiotics, okay? Probiotics will aid in reestablishing a healthy microbiome, okay? And a healthy microbiome is really important because it helps to support the neuroendocrine gut-brain function, which is, you know, a connection that many of us maybe weren't aware of, but now is becoming very well known. And that just works together to lend for a healthy gut. So if your gut is healthy, the rest of you is healthy, is what I've come down to decide. And I think they're total game changers, you know. So, and the probiotics, the important thing to remember with them is that you need to have diverse strains that, you know, diverse strains that you would find in the gut, along with high enough concentrations. So, and one key strain that's recommended by many GI practitioners that I've spoken to is that of Saccharomyces boulardii, which is in our probiotics, by the way. It's good for treating and preventing diarrhea. It helps with those who are predisposed to getting C. diff due to overuse of antibiotics as well. So, you know, and probiotics too, again, more studies are being done, but they appear to be useful so far in a lot of other conditions as well. Conditions like food allergies, atopic dermatitis, you know, and allergic rhinitis, to name a few. And additionally, as we're talking about replenishing and replacing, we want to look at all these different medications that also deplete our nutrients that maybe we're not aware of. You know, certain medications that a lot of our patients are on, things like metformin, you know, PPI inhibitors, H2 blockers, all deplete B12. D3, vitamin D3, which is really critical for bone health and strength, is depleted by phenytoin, acid sequence, to name. You know, and those there's other nutrients like folic acid that's depleted by certain medications, oral contraceptives, pancreatic enzymes. Then you have other critical nutrients like vitamin K, zinc, magnesium, depleted by steroid use, thiazide and loop diuretics that patients have that often are on blood pressure medicines. The PPIs, of course, and then of course you'd also know the statins that decrease your coenzyme Q amounts in your body. So this is where our comprehensive vitamins are really, really handy because they seem to address a lot of these nutrient deficiencies. And these nutrient deficiencies oftentimes, and what I'm learning in a lot of the functional medicine with pharmacists is a lot of nutrient deficiencies present with all these symptoms, and they just often get overlooked. Patients may complain about numbness, or they may complain about muscle weakness, and it's often tough to determine, which nutrient is being depleted due to the medications that they're taking. So that's one other aspect of it. And then lastly, I'd just like to touch briefly on our telomere support product. Another great product. Our telomeres are genetic material that's found on the tips of your chromosomes. If you think of little plastic caps on the ends of your shoelaces, it's what protects the chromosome. And long telomeres are kind of, are a sign of vibrancy, of healthiness. Whereas shorter telomeres, as you age, they kind of correspond to aging and declining health, and also the onset of chronic disease. So lately, more and more again is being studied with this. And we have a telomere support product that's made of plant-based botanicals and antioxidants that has been shown to increase our plasma catalase. And plasma catalase is important because it helps to neutralize hydrogen peroxide, and it decreases oxidative stress, and thereby kind of conserving our telomeres. So I know I've gotten really, really nerdy with all this stuff, because that's kind of what's the focus of this, but I wanted to go ahead and turn it over to you, Melissa. So if you want to take over.
I'm talking and you guys couldn't hear me. So first and foremost, thank you, Louisa. Is she not just incredibly knowledgeable? Like, how valuable is her insight as a practicing pharmacist? We just really appreciate you sharing your insight, Louisa. Before I go in and really share more about how these products can actually be leveraged as a business, why don't we take a step back, Louisa? I'm sure some folks would love to hear your own product story, because there's one thing about this business, and that is that we all start on our own journey with these products. So would you mind sharing with everybody maybe how ISAGENIX came about for you and your story with your product journey? Oh, you're on mute.
Let me unmute. Okay, I unmuted. Yeah, absolutely. Before ISAGENIX, I was tired, I think, was probably the biggest thing. I was tired. I ate well. I've always taken care of myself. I played tennis 3 or 4 times a week. Very skeptical about all this stuff, because I felt like I was a pharmacist. I already knew kind of, which medications to take, which vitamins I could take. I pretty much felt like I cooked from scratch with respect to that. So once I got involved, I couldn't believe the difference, and it was gaining energy. It was not needing 3 cups of coffee to get through my workday. It was, feeling like I was existing at, maybe a 2 or a 3 some days. And now I exist closer to a 9 or a 10 even, on certain days. So, I came from being just very skeptical and kind of hesitant to just going all in and just allowing the process to happen. And I felt like now I feel like I can't go with so many of these products, especially the ones that are related to, decreasing oxidative stress and all these things that I feel that are really, really beneficial. So
yeah, absolutely. And you're crushing it on the tennis court these days too, right? Well, thank you for sharing. And I love your story. So guys, I'm going to share my screen, because I'm going to get into some things that may require some pictures. So let me go to share. Let me see. How did I do this before? Bear with me as I get my bearings with the screen here. There we go. Okay. You guys see my slides? My slide. Okay. All right. So let me just dive right into my story, and I'm going to kind of peel through. This is where we're going to transition into how we can leverage these products and this opportunity and make it a business. So I'm going to start with my product story and kind of tie it in a bow with my business story. But if you look at this person over here in the left in the pink dress, that was me about 6 months before the picture in the green dress to the far left. So in that pink dress, I was a mom of two, medical director in the pharmaceutical industry, traveling on planes, trains, and automobiles. And I was exhausted. I had kind of accepted the fact that I was in my mid-30s and this is the way I was supposed to feel. Just going, I felt like I was on E all the time. Even though I was health conscious, just like Louisa, I was, really focused on what I was eating. I was just zonked. And a good friend introduced me to the products. Skeptically, like Louisa, as a PharmD, tearing through the label and trying to poke holes in it. I finally just put the products in my body. And within 30 days, I literally was just lit up from the inside out. And if you really think about a lot of the science that Louisa just spoke to, it's exactly why I started feeling better. I was getting up before the alarms went off. I had more energy throughout the day. I mean, at the end of the day, I was a more productive employee, boss, mom, more interactive spouse. So if you looked over to the left in the green dress, that's me about 6 months into my journey on ISAGENIX. So that's really my product story. I'm now 5 years in and used a significant amount of the products during my third pregnancy, which is that baby over there on the far right. That's where I'll transition to kind of my financial story, is that I actually leaned in and I learned the business model. And not to say that this is common for everyone. It really is dependent on your effort and time you put into the business. But within a year and a half, I was able to hit 6 figures, pay off my college loan debt. And that gave me the freedom when that third child was born over there to the far right, being debt free and having that stream of income to actually fire my boss and begin my journey as an entrepreneur with ISAGENIX. And so that's the new me over to the far right, much more relaxed in my Hawaiian hat and tank top, which is where you'll see me most days. So let's talk about the market landscape for how people make money. How people make money, it's changing. People are working differently. I see it every day. The economy is evolving. People are selling online. People are getting new second jobs. We rent Airbnbs. That's a big side business, right? Influencer marketing, affiliate marketing. I mean, how many of you have hired online coaches, life coaches, business coaches, health coaches, right? The list goes on and on and on. The chances are, if you're on the line tonight, it's because you were influenced through someone in your network, probably through social media, right? So the market is just changing. But the reality is, most of these people who are in an industry of hustling, they're still trading time for money, right? And that's what I want to talk to you guys about tonight, and how ISAGENIX in the industry of network marketing is different. I'm really going to get into kind of the Robert Kiyosaki's of the world. I don't know if you've read that book, any of his books or not, but I fell in love with network marketing when I was still a corporate professional, fearful every day of layoffs, restructures, wondering when my big paycheck was going to disappear. And I began in the pockets of my time to build a business with a product I loved and could get behind. And it slowly created a passive income that created debt-free life for us, but then also created a residual passive income able to give me flexibility and freedom in my career. So many of you have probably read The Business of the 21st Century, but network marketing has come of age. You can work anywhere, location independent. I worked in Maine one summer for like a month with my kids. The schedule is flexible. I'm on the line tonight. At 3 o'clock this afternoon, I was with my kids at the bus stop, right? The income is uncapped. It directly correlates with your effort of work. The mentorship is out of this world. People choose to follow you. People choose to work with you in network marketing. You're not being told who you report to, and that's powerful. It's an equal playing field, low barrier to get in. Low risk. That we'll talk about this tonight, but the only cost of doing business with ISAGENIX is that you eat the food, and you are going to eat anyway. So I laugh because there really is no cost to the business, and the cost you eat and then you get to write off. And you also get to write off your internet and your cell phone and everything else. So out of network marketing and the industry coming of age, why ISAGENIX? And I think that when you're looking at network marketing and you're looking at opportunities to join and create residual income for yourself, you want to look if it's the right company, is it the right product, is it something you can get behind, is it the right culture and the right compensation model, and is it the right timing? And we've been in business for actually 17 years now, if my math is right, 18 years now, over 600,000 global customers, 20 plus countries, and A+ and better business bureaus. And our global revenue is over $1 billion now that we're in 2020. The timing could not be better. The numbers don't lie. I put this graph up and you can see the trajectory of the company. It was so funny. I went into my son's Montessori to pick him up this afternoon, and they had all these brown boxes everywhere to collect food, and they were all ISAGENIX boxes. Every single one of them was an empty ISAGENIX box. I'm like, well, this whole school's using ISAGENIX. But the industry is on the rise. And if you think about the data and the information that Louisa presented to you around functional medicine, that is a huge buzzword right now. So the trajectory and the velocity and the momentum with this company, the timing couldn't be better to lock arms and build. So now let me just dive in for a couple minutes around the different types of income that are there for us for the taking. Most of us, especially clinicians, are used to linear income, trading time for money. But there's also leveraged income and there's residual income. And so to get into that, I really want to talk about Robert Kiyosaki. Some of you are familiar with the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad, but he talks about that left-hand side of the quadrant, and he talks about the right-hand side of the quadrant. And over here on the left side is the linear income, where you trade time for money, whether it's white collar, blue collar, doesn't matter. If your income's big or if it's small, you still have to show up to get paid, and you have to show up every day to get paid. And on that left side is the employee and the self-employed. And this is where 95% of people in the United States and within this country live, or in this world. This is where people live, 95%, and only 5% of the wealth. Now, on the right-hand side of the quadrant is the residual income, where it's a legacy income. It's willable. Your money is coming in whether you show up or not. You are no longer the most important variable in the equation. It's an income-producing asset. When we think about that on the right-hand side of the quadrant, most people think about wealth building, and think about business owners, investors, right? And so that's where only 5% of the country lives. Only 5%, but that's 95% of the wealth. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I'd rather be on the right-hand side with a willable income that produces an income whether I show up or not. And so where I want to draw the parallel for you tonight is that in ISAGENIX, we actually have both quadrants. Depending on your effort and your time and commitment and what you build with the company, you can live in the linear space, linear income, which is our traditional trading time for money, meaning when you introduce someone to the products, the company's going to give you a referral bonus. It's a traditional sales model. As you grow your business and grow in the ranks, you're going to get rank advancements, just like you would in a traditional sales model, where you would get bonused for reaching a higher title and a higher status as a salesperson. The same with the leadership pools, traditional sales model. As the growth of your business grows and the growth of your team grows, you're compensated based on your personal growth and your team growth. Again, this is all linear income. And I can tell you here today, I have a number of people on my team who love this space. They work full time. They're making a passive income between $5,000 and $50,000 a year, and they still work full-time, and they're loving the side money to pay for their kids' college, to pay down debt, slush funds, right? But the financial freedom, the financial legacy is on the right-hand side of the quadrant. That is where you move from the linear income to the leveraged income. And this is where ISAGENIX has a 6% profit share. So this is where I lovingly call this my salary. So every single week on Monday mornings, I get paid 6% profit share for all the volume that runs through my entire organization. And that's work that I've done collectively with my team. And we have built a team, we have built a network of mass consumption of a product on reorder, because as you heard Louisa in the beginning, it's results oriented, it works, people love it, and it's an 87% reorder rate. So if you're not sharing it with somebody in your network, someone else is, like that Montessori I walked into today where somebody else has shared with that whole school, right? And they're getting 6% profit share. It's willable. If I were to die tomorrow, my husband would continue to get the residuals on my business. That is sleep at night security right there. There's no levels. If you're coming from another network marketing company, there's no washouts. There's unlimited earning potential. So I hope that like helps get your mind wrapped around how in network marketing you can have linear income on the left side, like Robert Kiyosaki talked about, but you can also have residual on the right-hand side. I know we're at 9, so I'm going to wrap this up in just a second, but I'm sure some of you on the line are wondering, okay, that's great, Melissa, but how do I build a business? How do I get started, right? You simply open a wholesale account and look for within our product line where you can redirect your current spending to your now online health and wellness store. I think about a lot of the products that Louisa just mentioned that a lot of people are using this day and age. Not to mention, we didn't even touch on our weight loss program, which is one of our #1 selling products to help people get nutritionally rebalanced. But at the end of the day, it's a redirected spend. So I'm just giving you some visuals of, you know, that's why I say the cost of doing business is there is no cost. It's money you are already spending, but now it's results oriented, it's third party validated, it's super clean, and you are on your journey to better health. So what I say is when you get started with this business, you go on your own journey to health and wellness. And along the way, you build a business and become literally the best version of yourself, physically and financially. So then you just simply ask yourself, when you get started and you've put these products in your body, who do I know? Do you know someone who needs a health or wellness makeover? Like our friend Helen on our team, right? Over here to the left. Or do you know someone who needs a financial makeover, who needs the residual income? The last category that I love is who do you want to partner with? Who do you want to have fun with? This is our team at one of our galas. Like, we choose who we work with. Some of the first people I enrolled are some of my best friends from pharmacy school. We were all looking to shed a little bit of baby weight and get rid of some college loan debt. And we've created a lifelong reason every year to get together and have a good time and build residual income while we're at it. So it's as simple as sharing a resource or a video with someone to have them take a look, see if they're interested. And over to the right, you can see, you can literally send people a cart and they sign themselves up. This is a business. Guys, I made 6 figures on my phone. This is a business that can be done literally in the pockets of your life, which is why I wanted to show you the screenshot here that literally anyone can run this business and grow a network of consumption off their phone. And it all starts with just sharing with 2 people. This is the bread and butter of our business, is sharing with 2 people who become committed consumers just like you. They're redirecting what we call a minimum of 100 business volume per month into their new health and wellness store. They're replacing groceries at a minimum of 100 BV. And remember, the company's paying you out at a 6% profit share of the volume that runs through your center. Once you initiate and share with 2 people, you are open for business with ISAGENIX and are able to participate in the profit share with the company. Where it gets fun is where when you do that and you go and teach the people who came into your organization how to do the exact same thing. I'm not going to get into the weeds on this slide, but the bottom line is each person that you share with who redirects their spending and becomes a committed consumer creates volume running through your business center at a 6% profit share. And where it gets fun is, don't let your eyes roll back in your head. Go up to the top here with Jim and think about that being you. And Jim shares with Kathy to the left and Greg to the right. Those are the first 2 people that he introduced into his organization. He now has, you can see in that first level, 2 people in his organization. When his 2 people share with 2 people, just like he did, it's a progression, it's a power of geometric progression. You go from 2 to 4 people in your organization. So now you have, you go from 200 business volume to 400 business volume being consumed on the monthly. When those 4 people eat, love, and share these products because they've had an amazing experience, then they go and share and do the same thing. And this is where the numbers get really fun. You go from 4 to 8. When you get to the 4th level, you get to 16. And this is where geometric progression starts to take off. You get to 64 at the 6th level, all the way down to the 12th level. You have over 4,000 people in your organization. Guys, I have over 5,000 people in my organization. I have personally enrolled less than 250 people. And this is where we say you are in business for yourself, but not by yourself. It is a group effort of bringing in our networks and changing people's lives physically and financially. And at the end of the day, when you look over to the far right, I just want to give you guys a concrete number, and I promise we'll wrap up, but this is where I'm a numbers girl. And if you're on here wanting to learn about business, I really want to show you the proof in the pudding. When you get to something like a 12th level where you have over 4,000 people in your organization, if you get to that 13th level of geometric progression of 8,190, and I want you to think back to the committed consumer model. So if everyone is eating and loving these products at a minimum of 100 business volume, because that is the minimum requirement to participate in the profit share with the company, right? And you multiply that out, that's 819,000 BV times 6% profit share. 6% profit share. So you're looking at 12,000 plus a week. Guys, this is a classic example of residual and leveraged income, because see, you're not doing this work all by yourself. It is a group effort. It's a group model that creates a geometric progression, and the company pays you out indefinitely, whether you show up next week or not, because you've built the model of mass consumption. You build it once and get paid a lifetime. So with that, I know we're a couple minutes over, but I just wanted to wrap up and just say to you, if not now, when? The time has never been better when we think about the convergence of functional medicine and financial freedom and wanting to work from anywhere and have that freedom to do what you want to, when you want to, and have the financial freedom to be in control. So with that, I'm going to wrap up. If you have additional questions, be sure to reach out to the person who introduced you to coming to the event today. They can circle back with you, answer your questions, get you linked into some websites where you can come do your own research. So be sure to circle back. And I want to thank Louisa for being on the line and enlightening us on her scientific knowledge tonight as well. And this will be on record. If anybody wants a copy of it later to share with someone else, we'll have it for the replay. All right, we'll wrap up.